Okay, so this is going to be the start of the second half of our 2 versus 2 tournament. Right now we're just waiting on our second team. They asked to wait 5 minutes, so waiting on them yet. But we'll be starting here in a moment. I just want to start the stream a little early, that way I could explain to those who aren't familiar with the tournament or watching for the first time that what the rules are and where we're at right now. So we had our first rounds already. We started out with 8 teams, and now we're down to 4. And the 4 teams that are left right now are Just Look at It, Yugoslavian Masters, Laying Tangent to Your Curve, and Team Andromeda. Not that those names should mean anything to you. I'm sure all these people just made up those team names kind of on the fly when I made this original forum post. But those are the team names, and we'll be trying to refer to those team names just to make it easier on us as it goes on. Rules-wise, it's similar to maybe an ARAM style where most of the action should be happening in the middle. The jungle is not off limits. The only off limits area is the side turrets, or the side lanes, I should say. No one can enter the side lanes or get close enough to the side lane minions to where they can gain experience off of those minions. But the jungle is open. It's a 2 versus 2, so totally reasonable that one could go mid, one jungle, or as we've seen it more often, although I'm surprised, it usually ends up being 2 in the middle versus 2 in the middle. Not as much jungling as I expected. But as far as winning goes, it's the first team to either knock down 2 turrets, 2 of the middle turrets, or to get 7 kills. And it's kind of going back and forth as to what's won games. Usually it's been knocking down the 2 middle turrets, but a few times it has come down to 7, which team got 7 kills first. What's that?
We had 1 game.
With where it came down to 7 kills? Oh, I ended up having 3, I think. So yeah, there was a few games. Oh, and my wife, who helped me out with a couple of the games last time, is going to help me out again. She wasn't able to be here for all the games last time, but it just makes it easier on me as we have those side lanes that are still going to have minions in them, but they aren't able to go in there. So if they're just left to themselves, of course they'll eventually push. Where is this guy at? Oh, actually, it was not my friend's list. So if they're left to themselves, those side lanes will push, and so outside of observing the game, my wife and I are going to be just making sure that those side lanes don't get pushed and no towers go down, to make sure no team gets an advantage as far as global gold is concerned. I want to keep the games as even as possible. Outside of that, my wife and I will be having no influence on the games whatsoever and just be observing the games, making sure that the rules are followed, and like I said, keeping those side lanes in check. So we have both teams in the game now, and we are ready to start the bans. There are 6 bans in this. After the banning process, though, it does launch as a normal blind pick. This means both sides can have both sides of the match can have the same champion, but as far as the bans go, they aren't able to pick from that ban list. So you can't counter pick necessarily, which is a little too powerful in a 2 versus 2. It's hard to make it even as to who gets the first pick and the last pick. Whoever has that last pick can really make a really strong counter pick move, and we don't want to have that. Makes things a little hard. So it is blind pick. Outside of that might change in our future tournaments. It's just how I decided to run this first one. And the first ban is going to go to Just Look At It, which is Evaniscus and Platoon. If you had watched the other tournaments, you'll notice the Platoon is new, and it's, as before, it was Drunken Immortal, I believe. So his spot's been taken over by Platoon. Drunken Immortal wasn't able to make it, and Platoon is going to be the fill-in for that team. It was kind of a last-minute thing, but with everything that happened with the tournament delays and things like that, certainly want to make sure that they could still participate in some way. And so the first ban was Urgot, and then our other team, which is Yugoslavian Masters, followed up with Alistair and Blitzcrank, I believe. Yep, and Blitz.
Swain and Caitlin.
Then we have Swain and Caitlin being banned by Just Look At It, and then we have one final ban. And you notice these bans are far different than what you'd get in a 5 versus 5 or even a 3 versus 3. It's a lot of different champions, more powerful in a 2 versus 2 situation that wouldn't usually be that powerful in a 5 versus 5. So definitely a little bit different bans, and you'll see different picks here as we launch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and launch now. And go into the picking process. Now, my wife is on a laptop right next to me, and we'll be able to, I'll be able to tell you what's going on her laptop, or she will, and keep you informed of what the other team's doing, but you won't actually be able to see it. Observer mode's not in yet, of course, so something we aren't capable of doing is showing you what's going on both sides at the same time. We'll try to keep you informed so you have a good overall idea of what's going on both sides. Although this is a 2 versus 2, so a lot of the action is going to be visible at all times, as a lot of the action ends up going down in mid. Okay, so looks like so far we have Fiddlesticks and Gangplank over here, Fiddlesticks on the other team as well. So we will see 2 of the same champions matching up. We've had that a few times in the past. I think before it was Caitlin that we had, and we might have even had Gangplanks match up. I'm not sure on that though. So I don't think that was, but we have had a lot of Gangplank, but he's really good in 2 versus 2. Right now, Gangplank's pretty much good in everything though. So
indeed, a wise
after his
choice.
latest bus. I guess I could actually pick something here. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So like I said before, my wife and I not actually on either of the teams here. We won't be participating in any way to influence our teams at all. The individuals in the tournament, of course, aren't able to interact with us as per the tournament rules or with the side lanes, as I mentioned before. So like I said before, it's going to be Fiddlesticks and Gangplank up against another Fiddlesticks on the opposite team and Misfortune. It's kind of funny, Pirates on both teams and Fiddlesticks on both teams. I'm going to guess with the Smite Summoner spell, we are going to see a jungle from Gangplank, and that's something I kind of mentioned before in the other videos, but kind of surprised that we didn't see more of that yet. More utilization of the solo mid and one jungle.
Very interesting.
Okay, so it looks like Gangplank is indeed going into the jungle on the opposite team. Both individuals have headed right down in the mid, and they are at the front middle turret right now, making their way to the center of the map. And they are in the center of the middle lane. And it does look like they are going towards the jungle, though. And there is going to be a fight here as Misfortune face checks that bush and runs into both Fiddlesticks and Gangplank there. Not a good situation for her. Fiddlesticks will get low on health, but it's certainly early enough before the minion spawn that they can go back and refill on both health and any mana lost. I am going to go ahead and teleport down to bottom, being that I already have a turret placed here to protect that turret. So I can protect both lanes at the same time.
Minions have spawned.
And just provide commentary. So it looks like Fiddlesticks and Gangplank will both be coming back now. They have that early 1 kill, and like I mentioned before, the first team to 7 kills does win the game, so that's a really good starting advantage to have. Not to mention the gold that it provided them also. And so, picking up Wraiths and little golems right away, or at least the big Wraith. And both Caitlyn and Fiddlesticks on the other team are going to be in mid right now by themselves. Fiddlesticks does come in now to join them. And looks like Fiddlesticks and Caitlyn are going to try to zone him out here. They should be able to do smartly, though. He came prepared with a lot of health potions. Looks like when he went back, that's what he spent that kill money on. And between those health potions and that life drain, it's going to be really hard for them to harass him away from the experience and away from the last hits. So, very smart move there, picking up those health potions, giving him a lot of lane sustainability. And it looks like we have Gangplank coming in here. He could come in for this gank. He's going to get some damage done on Misfortune, but it's going to be him versus both right now, so he's going to have to retreat a little bit back into that bush. Fiddlesticks does come back to fight, getting a life drain off to give him a little bit more of that health back, but quickly loses it, and Gangplank took a lot of damage there. Very low on health now. He does, of course, have that self-heal from his fruit eating, but he did not have to go back. We see a life drain exchange between both Fiddlesticks right now. It looks like Plumber did come out on top there as the tower took a shot on the opposing Fiddlesticks. Life, which he's going to be able to replace with that life drain there, but it is going to be at the cost of mana. Looks like Caitlyn's going to try to go back, and looks like Gangplank is now returning to the lane. Who did I say?
Caitlyn.
Oh, I did say Caitlyn. Oh, that's funny. Misfortune is going to go back. So now it's just Fiddle versus Fiddle in the middle. That rhymes way too much. Like I said before, both, of course, very sustainable, both being Fiddlesticks. So, Fiddlesticks is a really hard person to harass out of the lane. And it looks like Gangplank did pick up blue buff now. It's going to give him a really good advantage now. So the cooldown and mana regeneration, but his partner is taking some damage there in the middle from the Caitlyn Fiddlesticks combo. Now, he's starting to gain that. Oof, that was a rough hit. He's not going to go down, but it's very, very close to it. Fiddlesticks is going, Gangplank is going to have to take over that lane for him now. Very nice attempt at that kill there. They were so close to getting it, but didn't quite do enough damage to take him down all the way. He was in a nice situation there where he had gained a little extra experience on both Caitlyn and Fiddlesticks, but he did have to leave the lane there for a moment. With having teleport, though, he was able to quickly return. And a big change from between this game and the games prior is everybody now has taken teleport. Everybody's seen the usefulness